Hello guys and welcome to a quick little video, and today I want to talk about hiring equipment. Now, in my last video I took a look at this guy. This is the Vizi Hybrid 16RX. It's American DJ's biggest and baddest moving head. If you want to check out my full review on this guy, make sure you click on the annotation on screen over here or the link in the description below. Now, the reason I want to talk about hires is because, well, firstly, this guy here is not a cheap light. I mean, to buy one of these will cost you at the moment, brand new, £1,700 per unit. Now, that is, for most mobile DJs, completely over and above what we can afford. So that's where the concept of hiring and equipment comes in. Many of you may do this already, some of you may not. Now, there are a lot of companies out there who will be able to hire you lighting equipment for a very reasonable price. But why would you want to hire versus buy? So some of you out there may want to start doing bigger events, larger venues, bigger gigs. However, that requires a different level of equipment. You need to move up to much more professional level gear to be able to cope with larger venues. And buying that equipment is incredibly expensive. As I've said, £1,700 for a single lighting fixture. Now, first of all, most of the gigs you do aren't going to require a huge high-end lighting fixture like this, or maybe a huge high-end PA. So a lot of the time, you're going to find that your expensive investment is sitting inside your warehouse or your lockup or wherever you keep your gear. So already you're paying large amounts of money to buy expensive equipment that then is going to sit around for that occasional gig where you might need a bright fixture. The other thing is thinking to the future. What are you going to need in 3, 4, 5 years' time? But as we know, technology moves on very quickly, and new fixtures like this are coming out every year, every 6 months from some companies. So you're buying into a light that in a few years' time will become second generation and a bit more obsolete. So this is where the advantage of hiring comes in. First of all, you don't have that huge upfront cost. You can go ahead and you can do larger gigs and you can hire inexpensive lighting fixtures, and that cost is offset against the cost of you doing the event. So by hiring an equipment, you're going to get profit from that first gig. You don't have that huge hole in your income paying off the cost of those lights you've just bought. In addition, you can be much more specific from event to event. Say one gig you need 4 of these lights, the next gig you need 12 of them. And when you hire, you're of course not limited to this one piece of equipment you've bought. You can hire what you need on a gig by gig basis. If you're doing huge events regularly and having something like this in your inventory is useful, then it's worth the investment. So you've got to look at the different gigs you do and how useful owning a piece of equipment like this would be. And then it's a case of looking at your finances and working out how quickly you could pay off that initial investment and start earning profit again. And then of course, if you do invest in a large amount of high-end equipment, you can become the person hiring out the lights to other DJs. So that's just my little ramble for today. Do consider, if you're doing larger scale events, hiring in equipment rather than buying. You can get a lot more production value for your money that way without having to invest heavily up front. If you have any questions about this subject or anything else, please leave them in the comments down below. And as always, thanks for watching.